Good evening. Welcome to another knee-jerk stream, this time for Game Week 23. Game Week 22 isn't quite over, of course. We still have the Man United versus Leeds match to happen on Wednesday, I believe it is. But otherwise, most of the matches have been played. So we're going to talk about what's happened, what's going to happen next week, transfer thoughts, stuff like that. We'll start off with a fun fact. Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez were able to combine today to match Salah's score, so congratulations to them. Erling Haaland also matched Salah's score, so all round, just really good for those Man City and Liverpool players this week. And also, I just realised I got the wrong team up. Well, I haven't got the wrong team up, but I've got next week, not this week. Probably because this week has been really bad. Ederson. I kind of wanted Ederson to get a red card. When he got that yellow, I just thought, if he gets a red card, I can just be done with it. Get Kepa and just never look back. But he didn't. So now I'm going to have to keep hold of him for next week, which isn't ideal, to be honest. And Mbamo hauled for you this week. It was sell next week. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Haaland transfer request coming. Salah about to pop off. Salah's about to pop off from nowhere. Liverpool are so bad. Kepa has been great. Should I swap Tony for Nketiah for the double? If you haven't got triple Arsenal for the double, you should have triple Arsenal for the double. Harry on 88, very nice. 78 with Rashford, Fernandes and Shaw still to come, very nice. Yeah, I have had a pretty bad score, 53. I mean, the main issue really is... I mean, I guess really the main issue is no Kepa, right? Because that would have been 9 extra points. That would have been 62. That would have probably been fine. I don't have triple captain, so a lot of people that have got 70, 80 scores, they've triple captain, which is fair enough. Yeah, I mean, obviously I could have Matoma instead of Salah, etc. But I think Kepa's really the biggest issue for my team this week, which was not good at all. Is Martial starting Wednesday? He wasn't even in the squad, so I would not be too hopeful about Martial starting. But honestly, I don't know. He had a setback, apparently. Are we really going to sell... Oh, by the way, Alfred, thank you very much, all the way from New York City. Glad you're enjoying things. Just remember all the Ward points you got, just regression. But the thing is, I could have had Ward and Kepa points. I said this, so I've got like a Discord channel for all the YouTube members and Patreon subscribers and stuff like that. I said earlier, honestly, Kepa to Ederson was such a worse move than holding Salah, honestly. It's an absolute killer every week. Every week. And the thing is, Arsenal are going to score against Man City, so it's whether or not they can get a clean sheet against Villa, and I'm not even that confident in that right now. So eventually, I think I probably will do Ederson to Kepa. I just needed the excuse to do it this week. I just can't do it this week with a double, right? None of you would do that, and if you say you would, you're lying. So yeah, I'll have to do it at some point. I'm ready for it. Ake was phenomenal today. No way we sell him. I mean, Pep messing around again. Lewis left back, Ake left centre back. The problem is, right, with Ake, I just think there's every chance he misses the Villa game and plays against Arsenal, and that's a nightmare. But do you know what? There's nothing we can do about it at this point. I just don't. I don't think I can sell Ake, and I don't think I want to. I just don't want to fund a move to De Bruyne. Mahrez maybe, right? Mahrez was a bit... I know I'm joking around that Mahrez and De Bruyne matched Salah, but Mahrez was a little bit unlucky. He hit the bar, right? But he came off before 60 minutes, and it kind of just reinforces the point we already know, that no one for Man City is that safe. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but I think I'm just going to have to keep Ake, and when he doesn't line up against Villa, it'll just be, well, I knew that was possible, but I couldn't do anything about it, really. I got to be honest, so I see that your team needs a wild card. I don't know if that's a joke or not, right? Whatever. But I do think that I do feel a bit stuck right now where there's players that I don't necessarily want. I don't need a wild card. That's just rubbish. But I also just can't take too many hits because the team isn't that bad. But like Salah could easily go. I'd much rather have Kane right now. Ederson should be Kepa, but he's got a double this week. Last week was a mistake getting Mings. Now, I don't think doing Patterson to Mings in isolation was a mistake because I know Everton obviously looked really good, but Patterson is not guaranteed to be back by 25, and he might not even be nailed on either. He probably will be, but he could just keep playing Coleman, right? There's no guarantee that Patterson plays. And I got Mings instead of Moreno, and Moreno didn't start. So I don't think that move in isolation was bad, but that isn't the move I should have made. I should have swapped one of my Arsenal players around because now I want to do it anyway, apart from I don't have the money, so I've got to fund it. So I could have done Martinelli to Odegaard or White to Gabriel. And obviously there's a bit of hindsight because Martinelli came off before 60, but it's not like Odegaard scored or Gabriel scored, right? They all blanked, but I still should have done one of those moves. And then this week I could have done the other one if I wanted to. Whereas now, if I want to do Martinelli to Odegaard, I don't have the money because I've brought Mings in and I've got to make another move. Which isn't that I can do it, but I could have basically done both. I could have swapped White and Martinelli, possibly, if there was nothing else to do, for free. Whereas now it would take hits to do it. So I think Mings was... I think the Mings move was bad. Not the fact that I got Mings, just the fact I didn't do another move instead. It doesn't need a wildcard, but it does need 5 to 6 transfers to get it good. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. Like, look at the team for this week. You're telling me this team needs a wildcard? I mean, come on, you can't be serious. Honestly, you cannot be serious. Like, Rashford and Fernandes will have to go, or one of them will have to go at some point, but it's Leeds away, Leicester at home. Who cares about them? Okay, I could have Odegaard and Gabriel instead of White or Martinelli, but as long as Martinelli keeps... Because let's be honest, it's not like Martinelli had a really bad game and everyone else played really well. Arsenal were just bad entirely, right? It's not like Saka or Odegaard played particularly better. So that's fine. Edison, yes, could be Kepa, but he's got a double game week, so who cares? And Salah's the other one, but you don't need a wild card to switch Salah. He's the most expensive player in the game. I can literally sell him to anyone, all right? So I don't think it's that bad. Yamanexus Dungle, it feels so good that you're falling behind. Do you know what? If that makes your life better, happy days. It's quite sad, but happy days. Place Shaw over Salah. No, come on, Ant. No. I got the punt that will make your season. You'll hate it. Mitrovic to Nketiah, Martinelli to Grealish. Nah. Well, you can't do that. I can't do that. I'd have to make a third move to get rid of one of my City players. So you would rather sell Rashford over Salah? No. You're not really listening. I said one of Rashford or Fernandes will have to go soon. I didn't say that was... Like, you're talking about Salah. I'm just saying that one of them will have to go soon because they're blanking. I didn't mention Salah at all. Salah to Kane. Yeah, Salah to Kane is probably what I would do. Like, everyone's been saying, do Salah to De Bruyne, do Salah to De Bruyne. But De Bruyne's been rubbish. He's been absolute rubbish. I could roll a transfer. The only thing is, I've got 2 free transfers, so I have to make a move. Well, I don't have to, but I will make a move. But there isn't really a good one move, you know? I've only got like 0.3 in the bank. So Shaw to someone else might be the move. Like, the move that I'm considering right now is Shaw to a defender, either Craig Dawson or Estepinian or Dunk. So one of those 3. And then do Martinelli to Odegaard. That's the move I'm currently thinking about. Yeah, Salah to Kane. Salah to Kane is definitely an option because I like the fact I would get to upgrade Greenwood. I'm seriously tempted by that, but I'm not putting any plans in place until... So Fulham play Sunderland in the FA Cup this week. I think it's on Wednesday. I'll just check now. Let me see. Fulham fixtures. Yeah, they play Sunderland on Wednesday, and both Ben on Twitter and James on his on Planet FPL, they reckon there's a chance that if Liverpool are going to double in 25, it will get announced like this week, but after that FA Cup result. So if Fulham win, there's a chance that the Liverpool double could get announced. Now, if Liverpool double, I'm not selling Salah, even though I'll probably get 0 points in 23, 0 in 20. 2 points in 23, 2 points in 24, and then 4 points in the double. But obviously, I can't do that if they double. If they don't double or it's not announced, I will be tempted to switch to Kane. But if there's still a possibility that the double happens, I just won't do it. It's not even that I can; it's just that I won't do it. Simple as that. But I like the idea of switching to Kane because I could do something like. I think one of the issues is it's not getting Kane. That's easily doable, right? And Kane's been brilliant, and I do like the fact that Kane has got Leicester away this week. I mean, away is not as good as being at home, but Leicester are not a great defence. Then it's West Ham at home. They play in the double. Wolves away, Nottingham Forest at home. But Kane will blank here. Almost certainly he will blank in game week 28. But I think up until that point, he just looks really good. So if I did that move for Greenwood and I got rid of Salah, I'd have 5.4 million. But do you know what the problem is? The player that I, of course, want is Matoma, which is going to be the one player that everyone else says as well. But who would I then bench this week? Because I can't bench Martinelli or Saka. They've got a double game week. So has Haaland. I'm not going to bench Kane, who I just bring in. Mitrovic has got Nottingham Forest at home. So I'd have to bench Matoma. And then he'd play in game week 24. But then he blanks in 25. So it doesn't feel like that good. I don't think bringing in Brighton players right now is necessarily bad, because they've got 2 good fixtures and they're going to probably double in 26 or 27. But bringing him in to bench him for 2 of the next 3 games, it doesn't necessarily feel right. I'm not going to bench Mitrovic against Nottingham Forest at home. Just not going to happen. So yeah, I could get Leon Bailey, but then he is another transfer later on, right? And if Salah doubles, how do I get from Fernandes to Salah? I can't. So that's why I'm a little bit wary of getting Kane in. If it comes out there's no double at all whatsoever, then I'd be way more tempted to do it. Yeah, I could get Andreas, yeah, for sure. That's another option. Him or Bailey. But really, I want Mitoma. It just doesn't feel right to bring him in, then bench him straight away. This is why, like, you don't take people's advice about your team seriously. My move is Salah to Mahrez, but I've got 3 Man City players. Why would you want to go with Salah? You know how nobody wanted Bruno Fernandes until he had a double game week? I guess he did get a big haul as well. But you know how no one really wanted him until he had a double? That, but with Salah. So Ben and James, I think both of them have said this, that it could get announced within... I think Ben said to me earlier, it could get announced within 48 hours of the Fulham game. But it's not a guarantee, right? It's not an exact science or anything like that. It's not guaranteed. You bought him Matoma this week. Happy days. Very nice. How can you sell Salah ahead of a Merseyside derby and then why not keep him after that? Luke, there's no point in answering your question because I know what all the replies will be. But yeah, I don't think he's a must sell this week, just because like a lot of people that sold Salah last week was to get Bruno, and I already had him, so there's not really an obvious option to go for. And also, I don't know. I don't know if Salah to Mahrez and getting rid of... I mean, Salah to Mahrez and Ederson to Kepa could be a move, or Ake to any defender, but I just feel like Mahrez is going to be a headache. It's annoying because Mahrez has started so many games in a row, but he is just that player that you know when you... I tweeted about this earlier. You know when you bring him in, he'll get benched and it'll annoy you. Salah has a bad record against Dyche. Yeah, I knew people were going to start bringing up the Burnley stuff with Salah. I can't remember exactly what his record is, but I know people used to say that a lot. Which 2, Botman, Shaw or Fernandes, bench 1? That's pretty easy, surely. Oh, sorry. Hang on, I've read that wrong. Shaw, Fernandes, Botman. I'd probably bench... Probably Luke Shaw, I guess. Buy Mahrez and some paracetamol. I'm looking at the same move, Salah to Mahrez, but don't want to play Pep Roulette. Yeah, so there is quite a lot of midfielders, but I still don't think there's an obvious move for me. I think if I was on a 3-4-3 and I had like Salah, 1 Arsenal midfielder, Fernandes and Rashford, it'd be so much easier. I would just do Salah to whichever Arsenal midfielder I don't have. But almost having 5 midfielders is making it a bit trickier. I support you keeping Salah. The points are coming. I don't think they are, for what it's worth. I mean, he'll probably get something because like he's that good in general, but Liverpool just rubbish right now. Yeah, Mahrez was bought off early, but I mean that was a tougher fixture than Villa at home's going to be, right? I mean, Arsenal away is going to be tough as well. I'd get rid of Patterson. I've already got rid of him. I still have Salah. Didn't want Bruno. Yeah, I mean, Salah to Bruno I think was a pretty easy move last week. Kane is what you want Salah to be, a points pony. Absolutely. Absolutely. I still, honestly, the funny thing is, right, Kane, I think Kane's had 3 penalties this season. They missed 1. If Salah was to get 3 penalties now, if Salah had also had 3 penalties, sorry, he'd be the top scoring midfielder if he puts them all away. Like it's like he's done so bad, and yet he's still so close to the top. It's mad. Oh, by the way, Rashford's now the top scoring midfielder, and he's got another game this week, so he'll almost certainly score again, I reckon, against Leeds. I wouldn't free hit 25 unless you absolutely need to. Like I just wouldn't do it. I would plan not to do it. You're gonna find that free hit so much more useful later on. It might, like, I guess the only thing to say, it might fall that in game weeks 28, 29, 32, whatever, 34, 37, when the doubles and blanks are, the fixtures may fall where it's actually easy to manage, but you're almost certainly going to want that free hit instead of in 25. Midfield standards are not that high. I know, the forwards are smashing it. You've got to match the stats with the discretion. I don't know what that means. Salah's stats are poor and Liverpool all over the place. He's too overpriced to stick with. That rally needs to be redistributed. Sure. Where do I need money? I mean, really, it doesn't need to be redistributed. It just it needs to go to Kane, right? Because if it doesn't go to Kane, where do I need more money? Honestly. I've already got the most expensive Arsenal midfielder. I've got the 2 most expensive Man United midfielders that anyone wants. I've got Trippier. I mean, I've got a more expensive goalkeeper than most people. It doesn't need redistributing at all. It just needs to go to one other player. Rip Almiron. Yeah, Almiron's been really bad. Luckily, he's less than 6 million. We need a second free hit again. Nah, it makes it too easy then. Do I think Trossard might start over Martinelli one game? I think, yeah. I talked about this on Twitter. As always, Twitter does Twitter things and people reply to something you haven't said. I think Martinelli is absolutely first choice, and I still think it's very unlikely he's going to be benched at any point soon. But the reality is he has a player that could play there. So is there a ever so slightly tiny doubt in my mind that Trossard could start one game at some point in the next 5 to 10 games? Yeah, there is. Like, even if it's like 0.01%, nobody that owns Martinelli can tell me that every time that Arsenal team sheet comes out, they're not slightly worried. Even if it's like 0.0001%, right? It's just that tiny bit. Whereas with Saka and Odegaard, you just don't have that. So do I think that Martinelli is going to start against Brentford and then start against Man City? Yes. I absolutely. That is where I'd put my money. But would I put all my money on that? Probably not, right? Because I'd be slightly concerned. Would I put nearly all my money on Saka starting? Yes. Odegaard, yes. Nketiah, yes. Martinelli, I'd probably save a bit of money and not put it all on. You know, so that's kind of what I feel like with the Martinelli situation right now. I think if you've got other stuff to do, you keep him. I just think I may have the luxury to move him on. I should have done it last week. I should have, like I said, it's a mistake not to have done that. But I may just move him on this week. Well, yeah, that is definitely, even if you don't think the starts are an issue, Arteta now has someone he can bring Martinelli off for, right, as we saw. I suspect Martinelli probably will fall in price again this week, just because he was such a heavily owned player, but he has only just fallen, so he's on minus 19% right now, so he's not going to fall in the next couple of days, you'd think, but he may fall before the deadline. Scotty Lakes, which 4 players do you plan to bench game week 28? I've got to be honest, I've not planned for that at all yet. It's a good point, though. I probably should look at that. I do like to think ahead, but I guess I haven't thought that much. I do sometimes find that I find FPL very difficult when I don't know what my next move is going to be. I do like to be open-minded about transfers, but I also like to have an idea of what I'm going to do. And so right now I'm thinking if I get this player and he can play this week, that week, a bench there, and sometimes you just think about it too much. So who to bench in 28, I don't know yet. Salah to Mahrez, Edison to Kepa, Greenwood to Wilson. I don't know if you're asking me or telling me to do that for my team. Yeah, that could work. But who'd you bench then? Or who would I bench if I did that? Probably Wilson. Maybe not Wilson against Bournemouth away, actually. Like, who would I bench then? Like, if I did that move, I would have to bench one of Mahrez or Haaland with a double, Arsenal players with a double, Rashford or Fernandes with Leeds away, Mitrovic with Nottingham Forest at home, or Wilson, who I'm apparently taking a hit for against Bournemouth away. So, probably not. The thing is, you say, like, Man City are in crisis, and Haaland's not doing well. I mean, Haaland has 25 goals this season, and okay, he's not doing so well since the World Cup. Well, he has 7 goals in 7 games. So, I think he's doing fine. What I will say is, right, I don't want to keep talking about Salah, but do you know what it makes it worse? Right? Earlier on in the season, when I kept getting battered by Haaland captain because I kept going for Salah a few times, I said that the swing was brutal and it was a little bit harsh, and at some point, Haaland is not going to keep scoring every single game. And now he's not scoring every game. He has blanked 1, 2, 3 times since the World Cup break. Although, to be fair, it was Chelsea away, Man United away, and Spurs away. So, quite tough games. But at the same time, Salah's decided to stop scoring as well. So, it's just like, it just rolls into more of a nightmare situation. But like, at the end of the day, Haaland has scored, since the World Cup, 2 goals against Leeds, 1 goal against Everton, 1 goal against Spurs at home, and 3 against Wolves. Like, I think he's fine. I think he'll score goals against Villa, and then we'll see if he can nick anything against Arsenal. Man City are too reliant on Haaland. Maybe. I don't know. I saw a great tweet before I came on live that said all the people saying Haaland is a problem for Man City are the same people saying last season they needed a number 9. And I think in a lot of cases that probably is true. On paper, your team looks great. I agree, but obviously, I mean, people just putting doubts in my mind about Ben White. He's probably fine. Same with Martinelli. Obviously, Salah could go. Edison's not great, but he's fine this week. Ake might not even start both those games. Like, there is a chance. I won't risk it. I'm definitely going to start Ake, obviously, but I think there's a chance that Ake misses Villa and Shaw ends up outscoring him. I think there's a chance that happens. Can we all agree that Emerson is going? Emerson played really well. This is one of the reasons why I wouldn't go for Porro right now until we see how much rotation there is. Midfielders are not finding Haaland's runs. Yeah, much better when De Bruyne came on today, I thought. Although, Spurs were probably a better team throughout most of that game. Have you played your triple captain? Yes, I played it on Haaland in game week 20. But I tweeted this earlier. I tweeted a lot today. If Rashford doesn't play any minutes against Leeds, which he will, by the way, so don't panic. But if he doesn't play any minutes against Leeds, he will still have outscored every single triple captain I have ever played because he's got 12 points. Surely at some point I'm going to nail the triple captaincy. Surely. Sometimes I think I just want to give up this stupid game, but I can't until I get a good triple captain score. Is it Badiashile? I talked about this Chelsea defender today on a video for tomorrow, and I've definitely said his name wrong, and people are going to give it out to me. Badiashile. He has played every game. He has played the last 3 games and kept a clean sheet. I think he looks good. He's not in the Champions League squad. I think that's a good thing. Because it's not like he's been left out because they don't think he's decent. It's because they had 3 other new signings they wanted to put in instead. But they do have a lot of defenders. Like, if they ever play a back 5 again, they could easily play someone like Cucurella left centre-back. You know, have Thiago Silva and, I don't know, Chalobah in there, I guess. But I think right now he just looks so good. I think they will keep playing him. Like, one thing with Chelsea right now, yes, they're not scoring, but they are doing well in defence. So I don't know if he'll change that next time. I don't... Badiashile. Is that right? Badiashile. Badia. Yeah, Badia. Ake or Akanji. I'd probably go Akanji right now, but I really don't know if Man City headache is worth it. Enzo I thought was good. I don't think he's going to be an FPL option. Although the fact that he's only 5 million, you never know, but I just think the position he's playing, he's probably not going to be an FPL option. And again, it comes down to the fact that he takes up a midfield spot. So unless... I think given that a lot of people have had Haaland and Kane most of this season, I just don't know why you would need to enable a midfield slot with someone like Enzo. So I just don't think I'll do it. Yes, I'm considering Reece James. Yes. I don't think I can make it work though. Before the thing is, if I get Reece James, I want to get him this week or next week. I don't know about bringing him in against Spurs away. It just doesn't. if I've got Reece James, I don't mind playing him in that game, but I don't think I would want to transfer him in that week. So whether or not I can make it work for next week, I'm not 100% sure yet. Any big celebration planned for 350,000 subs? No, not really. 400k, I guess. 500k. 500k in a few seasons, maybe. You're ready to get hurt again? Yes, absolutely. The thing is, right, someone said this to me earlier. The only reason having Salah is even bearable is because outside of Kane, I mean, Kane has been really good, but like De Bruyne is the main player that people keep saying to go for. He just hasn't done that much recently. And obviously I've got very fortunate that he's been benched twice against Spurs. Like, if De Bruyne had been popping off every week, then having Salah would hurt even more. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. I really want to give you credit for your YouTube shorts. Good work. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying them. I'm kind of still playing around with it. I'm not really sure what, like, with the YouTube shorts, I haven't worked out whether to do too much game week content, because obviously you can't. The problem with the clue is in the name. The problem with shorts is they're short, so it's hard to give context. I know, like, sometimes people say that my actual videos are too long, but at least you get to provide context around what you're saying. Like, in the short, for example, I did last week, I said about Gnonto and Meslier as options for Leeds. But if I'd done a video, I probably would have said a lot more about why Meslier probably doesn't need to be brought in. Quite a few people suggesting you start Shaw over Salah. Those people aren't serious, though. Screw FPL rank. Andy's killing the YouTube game. If anything, Salah's failure is an engagement boost. It's not, honestly. People say this a lot. Trust me, it is much better to be doing better in rank. You'll see anyone with a YouTube channel that suddenly gets to a really high rank, especially earlier on in the season. Like, it'd be great to have a high rank at the end of the season, but it's better to get it earlier on in the season. You get much better views and subscribers and stuff, honestly. It's much like, obviously there are certain people that watch a lot that when I do badly, they love to come on and tell me I've done badly, but it doesn't help you get new subscribers necessarily. Betray FPL for Sora. Sora looks interesting, but I feel like a few people have marketed it as if it's going to overtake FPL, and I'm not sure about that, but you never know, I guess. Does look good, does look interesting. I mean, I've played it before, right? Just not for Premier League. And the fact they got Premier League now means I need to take probably another look. Teams do not have blanks for the rest of the season. I think Villa and Everton, is it? I could be wrong on that. I think there's 3 teams. No. Is there 3 teams that can't have a blank? I might be wrong on that. You need to do a clickbait short about Salah. Something why I'm selling Salah, but you don't sell Salah. Okay. Take a look at the plan AI had for your team. It's on the FPL Inception YouTube page. Oh, nice little plug there. I'll try and have a look. I don't think I want to know, though, because it probably involves selling Salah. Thoughts about getting Matoma next week? I think if you can make it work, Matoma's a really good pick. Because the one thing I've probably not emphasised enough is there's a very high chance that Brighton will double in 26 or 27. That's why a lot of people that I followed got him in this week. It's not just because he was a good option this week. It's because he's a good option after the blank. You finally went triple captain Rashford, dreading next game week. You've got 12 points in the first game. It's honestly, you're cruising. You don't need to worry about what Haaland does next week. It doesn't matter. You've got 12 points from your triple captain. I would honestly be so chill about it. I mean, I'm chilled about mine. I got 8 points. I've not even really thought massively about the fact that Rashford's been triple captain so much because he's not massively over 200%. Imagine selling Salah then hits a hat-trick game after. Will 100% happen? I got to be honest, I don't really play FPL like that, where I keep a player just because I'm worried they'll score when I sell them. But I've got to be honest, it has crossed my mind with Salah that, you take him out before Everton at home, and he goes and gets a penalty and scores a goal from open play, 2 goals, gets a 3 bonus, 15-pointer. That would be a killer. But that's not the reason I've kept him up until this point, but it has crossed my mind that could happen, and that would be a nightmare. Robbo, Mount, Martial to Reece, Saka, and Nketiah for -4. So, yes, I mean, Liverpool defence really bad. Mason Mount's okay if he keeps starting, but nothing special. And Martial is probably going to be injured because that's what Martial is. So Saka and Nketiah are brilliant options. I mean, I don't know how long Nketiah is going to be a great option for, because Jesus could come back in a few weeks, and maybe that will affect him. We'll have to see. 3 to 4 weeks, maybe. Could be longer. And Reece James, I think if you get Reece James, you do it knowing that he's only just back from injury and they're going to manage him. And I think he is a good option. But I've done a video tomorrow where I talk about Reece James, and the fixture schedule for Chelsea is not ideal for wanting Reece. Basically, I think Reece James will either not start against West Ham away, or he'll not start against Southampton away. I think there's a real chance of that. So it is a little bit of a worry. It's a little bit of a worry. Selling Salah is not as easy as you think when De Bruyne and Son are not tearing up trees. I mean, look, obviously, De Bruyne hasn't been great, but he is a better option than Salah this week. There's no doubt about that. But I don't have a spare City slot, so it doesn't really matter. Zhao is back, so does Mount get guaranteed starts? Honest answer is I don't know. Chelsea got so many options. I think it's really hard. Obviously, João Felix has been suspended for 3 games. They've just signed a whole load of new players that need to be integrated into the side. I do wonder if we might finally start seeing Potter have some kind of a core to his team. Now everyone's in there. Like 6 to 8 players that kind of start at most games. And then he just switches the other players around. But who knows with him right now? I just feel like there's way too many different combinations going on with Chelsea. Stop thinking Salah's replacement has to be a premium. You keep comparing him to De Bruyne, Kane and Son. Of course it doesn't have to be, but there is merit in keeping a structure that you can easily switch between, right? The Let's Talk FPL Cup has started. I know you're a big fan. Oh, God. I'm even less of a fan because I'll almost certainly be losing in the first game. How can I actually see the result? Oh, Ben's... Oh, you can't see it. Oh, damn it. Willy Wonka William Hammer is beating me. God damn it. Let's see who's got. Oh, he's got no Bruno Fernandes, so I can still win. Oh, he's got Kepa. Of course he's got Kepa. He's got Kepa and Kane. Of course you do. No Salah. What do you think you are? But he did have double Newcastle defence. Very, very happy that double Newcastle defence conceded this week, by the way. So I can still win. We've both got Rashford captain. We've both got Luke Shaw. He's got no other players. And I've got Bruno Fernandes. So I need Bruno Fernandes to get 1 return. Has he got... Oh, no, wait. That's not true, is it? Kane bonus points. Kane is on 2 bonus. 2 bonus. So I'm going to be losing by... Ha, De Bruyne. I'm going to be losing by 6 points. So I need Bruno to score. I need Bruno to score to get me through in the cup. Maybe. He's on penalties. Imagine going out first round in my own freaking cup. Is it okay to just go with 2 City even though they double because we don't know who to pick and they aren't in form as well? I mean, I think they're fine form wise, right? I mean, they just smashed Wolves the game before. Oh yeah, an assist and bonus points could work. Don't make up positive sounding Salah scenarios. Like I don't. Sometimes I feel like I'm like talking a different language or something. I'm not really making up any positive Salah scenarios. He's bad. Don't buy him. And I've said that for weeks now. I haven't been saying to buy him. He just hasn't worked into my plans, really. Just did White and Martial to Mings and Nketiah. Interesting. Oh, White and Martial, yeah. Do you reckon Marseille to Odegaard will be worth -4 over the next 7 weeks? Do you know what? I just don't think we would do that if it wasn't for a double. I do think it could be done. I'm half tempted. There was a part of me that was going to do like Salah or Fernandes out and then Marseille and White to Gabriel and Odegaard and then get another midfielder in, but I just don't know. You got to buy in the cup. Lucky you. Surely you can do Edison to Kepa and Salah to De Bruyne. I can do that, yeah, but do I want to do that? Don't know, maybe. Would you change Lewis to Ake in 23 or just keep? Probably just keep. I was answering a question before that Salah thing come up, and I don't know what it was now. We'll see. Already did Almiron to Odegaard to avoid the rise and plan to roll 24. Very nice. Boring 2 weeks. What should I do to keep interested? I don't know. Go and watch The Last of Us or something. Just come back later. What's your view on Darwin Nunez? I mean, do you know what my view is on Darwin Nunez, right? Let me just bring it up here. Now, I will say I've not watched I didn't watch the Liverpool game against Wolves, right? I've seen some of the highlights, but I haven't watched the game, so I don't want to pretend like I've seen it all. And so I could be completely wrong here. So let's just get it out right now. But when I was looking at just some basic stats on who scored, Keita had 5 points. Keita. I don't know how that happened. Darwin Nunez had 5 points. What am I saying? Points. Shots. Keita. He had 5 shots. Darwin Nunez had 5 shots. Salah had 2. Now, maybe Salah was just really bad, right? Which is quite possible, as we know. But I just feel like for so much of this season, Salah is being sacrificed a little bit to get Nunez going. And obviously, Klopp has to make Nunez work because he was such a big money signing. But Salah is your best attacker, and you are kind of sacrificing them a little bit for the rest. Oh, there's so many problems with Liverpool right now. I'm not saying it's just that, but I just feel like all those you can't like blame Darwin Nunez because he's getting into good positions to get the chances, which is a good thing. I just can't help but feel if Salah was getting the ball in those positions instead, Liverpool would have more goals because he is a better attacker. So that is one of my feelings about Nunez. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to ignore him unless they get a double. If I tell you now, if Liverpool get a double, I'll be very surprised if I don't bring in a second Liverpool player. Probably not Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. So it would probably have to be Darwin Nunez, and that will be my Greenwood move. It will be Fernandes out and Greenwood to Nunez, and then someone in for Fernandes. That will probably be my 2 weeks. No, I knew you didn't mean the stream, Alex. I knew you didn't mean the stream. It's not 2 weeks. It's only 1 week to the next thing deadline. Do you watch the Six Nations? Not really. I saw England lose to Scotland right at the death. I didn't watch the whole game. I'm not really a massive rugby fan, to be honest. Like I might watch your game, but not that bothered really. It's not that it's bad. It's just not really for me. We love you, but bringing in Liverpool players is worrying. But listen to what I said. If they have a double, I would look to bring in one more. Probably not Trent. That's all I've said. I'm not said I'm tripling up no matter what. I'm just saying if they have a double, and if you've watched this channel for a while, I'll do that for any team, right? Any team that's got a double, I'm interested. Because why not? Why not go for that upside? And again, I really hope the Liverpool double happens just so everyone can change their tune, because you will want a Liverpool player. I guarantee it. Apart from the fact that Haaland plays Bournemouth away in Gameweek 25, so maybe not quite as much. I do genuinely think that not as many people as normal will flock to Salah if they get a double, just because Haaland has got Bournemouth away. So I think it could be quite interesting. If Salah scores, which does not look likely right now, but if they got a double in 25, right, and Salah scores 1 or 2 goals in these 2 fixtures, then I think people will want to bring him in for the double and captain him. If he blanks for these 2 games and then has a double, I think there's a genuine chance that Haaland probably won't be higher owned, but it will be very close because Haaland has Bournemouth away. I think that could get really interesting. I think it'll all depend on whether Salah can actually score the next 2 games. Told you the Man City defence is overrated. The stats over the last 2 months aren't good. Sure. I mean, they played Spurs away. There's a reason I benched Ake, you know? I mean, the clean sheets they haven't kept are Spurs, fair. Man United, fair. They kept one against Chelsea. One all against Everton. That was a banger from outside the box. Everton didn't create anything in that game. And they conceded 1 to Leeds. I can't really remember that goal, if I'm honest. So I think the Man City defence is perfectly fine. The problem for FPL is they're just not worth it because they're a headache, as I said. Why are people happy when someone's not having a good game week? I don't know. It's always been the same in FPL.
Like, at the end of the day, we are playing a game where we want everyone's picks that we don't own to do badly. Like, that is just the reality of it, right? When I watched Man City Spurs, what did I want? I wanted Harry Kane and De Bruyne to get red cards because I didn't own them. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to go and laugh at everyone individually, but that is what I wanted. Fernandes, Stones, Martinelli to De Bruyne, Gabriel Mahrez for a -8. Is there a better way to do that? I guess with Stones there probably isn't. So yeah, that might be right. Oh, I think you're answering my question on going with 2 City even though they have a double to focus on the right Arsenal players. Yeah, I find it tricky to just only have 2 Man City players because they're so good. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad strategy, especially if it's going to stop you doing a bunch of other really good transfers the next week or so. Because, like, Mahrez, De Bruyne and Haaland could arguably be the best 3 right now. I guess Akanji as well. But if you've got a pivot to get 3 of those, I just don't know if it's worth it. Any interest in watching the Milan derby or Barca versus Sevilla at 8? I almost never watch other leagues. And I won't be watching them because straight after this I'm going to watch the latest Jurassic Park movie because I told my son that we'd be watching it after this. That's actually why I'm doing this an hour earlier. That's the legit reason. Am I going to finally sell Salah? I asked you last week why you're still holding him. Yeah, I explained why I still had him in the team selection. Am I going to finally sell him? Probably not. Sorry to disappoint you. But who knows? I need to have a think, and I need to see what happens with the FA Cup first. There's no point in saying definitively yes or no I'm going to sell him. Awful film. Thanks. Not watching Happy Valley. I got no idea what that is. Happy Valley. Yeah, no idea what that is. So no, not watching it. I started watching White Lotus the other day. Got 3 episodes in, and I think I'm just going to give up. You have a son, didn't you just get married? Oh, I hate to break it to you. Do you think you'll bring back watch-alongs? How come you stopped? Were they not doing that well or time issues? It's a bit of both, right? Watch-alongs just aren't that popular for FPL. They're not that popular. But it is just a time thing. Like, it's another 2.5 hours on the weekend usually on top of all the other stuff for something that's not quite as popular. So it's hard to it's hard to kind of get around that. I'm not saying I won't ever do them, but I don't think I've done any this year, have I? I think with FPL, I think with, like, if you think about the big, you know, Arsenal fan channels, Man United fan channels that do it makes sense, right? Because they're watching their team. But for FPL, there's a few things. One, I need to have the free time. But 2, it also has to coincide with lots of good games on at once. Like, if we look at this week, for example, I've not even checked, right? But I could be wrong. So, like, let's say I did it at 3 o'clock, because in Ireland I can watch Arsenal versus Brentford. I mean, that might be pretty good because it's a double game week, right? But the other games are Palace versus Brighton. So some people might have Mitoma and March. That's about it. Fulham versus Forest. Well, I've got Mitrovic, I guess. Harry Kane, who I don't own. And then Spurs versus Wolves. Southampton versus Wolves. It's just not that interesting. And then you could do it on, like, these matches, but they're just one game or two team match. What am I trying to say? They're just one match, right? And so from an FPL point of view, it's not that interesting to just have one team where, like, Man City and Villa, I guess, okay, people would have triple captain Haaland, but you need, like, the reason Game Week 38 is so good is because all the teams are on at once. That's why I kind of like it, that one. Am I sponsored by Jack and Joe's? No, but if they want to sponsor me, feel free to reach out. Bring in Mahrez for Rodrigo or De Bruyne for Fernandes. I mean, Rodrigo's out for months, like, you know, 6 to 8 weeks probably. So definitely Mahrez for Rodrigo and keep Fernandes. I think your tweets during games are more entertaining than watch-alongs. I do get a bit trigger happy during games. I need to probably chill out a little bit. Thoughts on H&M? I wouldn't triple captain them. Yeah, I quite like the match of the day challenge. Like, I could do that, but again, I would probably need someone else on, because if I do it on my own, it's just literally a live stream where I can't read the chat because someone would spoil the results, and so it's just me reacting to watching match of the day with no interaction with the chat. It just wouldn't work. So I'd have to get a second person on, really. I think you dodged a bullet by avoiding Yonto. Leeds looked poor, so I didn't get to watch most of that match. I had to watch one or the other, so I chose the City Spurs game. From what I saw, Leeds did all right. I thought, like stats wise. I know. Obviously, Thingy scored a really nice goal, but okay, it wasn't that impressive. So according to info, it was 1 XG for Leeds and 0.3 for Forest. So actually, the Leeds defense actually did all right. So if you had Meslier, maybe you got a bit unlucky. Leeds played really well, and Yonto was class. That's kind of the vibe I got from. Twitter. Thoughts on the Casemiro red card? Yeah, shouldn't have done it. I know, like, Will Hughes didn't really react and stuff, but you just don't do it, you know? Have you thought about doing videos with other people on? Yeah, sometimes. It's just, you got to find the right people who can do it at the right time. You know, podcast, that's what I should do, right? I should do a podcast, an actual podcast, not just putting my videos to podcasts, just do an actual podcast. Does struggling at this bloody game ever get you down? I guess it's better to be doing well, but I know people laugh about variance and stuff like that, but I genuinely do just try and remember that football can happen. Like, weird results will happen and you won't get everything right. This is what I tweeted earlier. I started seeing some tweets saying, you know, people have avoided Matoma just because he had a blank. Sometimes you got to ignore blank game weeks. And I thought, that's all well and good, but Matoma scored a worldie in the last game and he scored an 87th minute header this week. Now, that is not to put down the pick whatsoever. He was in my Game Week 21 watch list. I think he's a really good option, really good value, Brighton looking brilliant, all that stuff. But it just so happens that he scored. Whereas in the previous game, Solly March had a chance from a Matoma assist, by the way, where he skied it from like 6 yards. And all of a sudden, people have decided not to get March because of the blank. And he has blanked. And that looks like a good move. So neither of those decisions were wrong. I preferred Matoma, but bringing in March wasn't a bad move. Neither was bringing in Matoma. It just so happens that on this occasion, Matoma got the points and March didn't, and that can just happen. There's nothing you can do about it. So I'm not saying that I watch Salah blank every week and I watch Kane score every week and I'm like super happy about it, but like I know lots of people will say they predicted this downfall for Liverpool, but up until Game Week 17, Salah had still been getting returns, not anywhere near as good as like Kane and Haaland, etc. But he'd been getting something, and all of a sudden, since Game Week 17, he's just blanked, like I won't say out of nowhere because Liverpool have been poor, but what can you do about it? Like, obviously, I could have transferred him. I get that. I didn't do it. Blah blah. We won't go through that again. But that's just the kind of same with Martinelli. He goes off before 60 minutes. It's frustrating, but what can you do about it, you know? Maybe in another game, Arsenal nick an early goal against Everton, and that defence that they put up just doesn't hold. Maybe they go on to score more. It's just... You've just got to... It's not to write off every decision as a good decision, but you've got unlucky, because that's not the case, right? I've already spoke at the start of the stream that I think my move to Mings was a bad one, and the move that I think I should have done wouldn't have actually netted me any points, but I would have been a transfer ahead. So I do think you can make bad moves in hindsight or not in hindsight, but you can just sometimes get unlucky, right? You just can. It just happens like that. Like, look at people with Man City defence against that Everton game I spoke about earlier. Like, it's quite easy to just say, well, the Man City defence keeps conceding, it's not very good. But if you watch that game against Everton, they had almost no chances, and I think it was Damari Gray just scored an absolute worldie, and Man City conceded. Like, what can you do about that? Absolutely nothing. You made the right call by having Man City defenders in that game, and then they didn't keep a clean sheet. Like, it just happens. Luckily, I didn't have Man City defenders at that point, but... yeah. You say my game week, Rodrigo to Matoma on your advice really paid off as part of a -4 Patterson to Shaw. Very nice. Yeah, Matoma's great, by the way. Like, I'm not saying that he was a bad pick. I'm just trying to, like, show you an example, I guess. What's everyone's target this season? Top 100k? Yeah, it's getting to the point where top 100k probably is going to have to be the target. I think usually... It's obviously getting harder and harder because there's so much content out there now, but the back end of the season is the real business end, because the planning and then the extra points you can get for blanks and doubles can be quite good. So I'm not giving up all hope of like a top 50k finish or something like that. But I think top 10k is probably not going to happen this season. The streak is stopped. Every time I watch the stream, you're on the defense for something that's getting tiresome to listen to. Just focus less on comments to make you go that way. I mean, I feel fine. I don't know what I'm getting defensive about. I mean, like, you call it defensive, but I'm just answering. I mean, maybe I'm being defensive right now. I'm just answering people's questions, right? This just so happens there's a lot about freaking Salah. It's what you've described that's the point and fun of FPL. Yeah, absolutely, right? The highs are great. It's just that the lows suck, and you just got to deal with it, right? Mitrovic to Alvarez, nope. And Andreas to Mahrez, -4. Nope. I don't think I did. There's no guarantee that Alvarez starts the next game. It was tactical for Spurs. Like Pep said, that's the reason De Bruyne missed out. Alvarez started instead of De Bruyne. I mean, I know that Mahrez came off and Alvarez stayed on, and that could happen, but I just don't see Alvarez continuing to get regular starts, so I wouldn't put him in your team. Mahrez is fine, but you need to find a different way to do it, I think. You got to experience the lows to appreciate the highs. Absolutely. Like, look at, like, obviously, like I've said a lot of times now, Kepa to Edison was a really bad move. But that same week, I bought Fernandes in for a hit and he got 19 points. And now he's got another 10 this week. Like, there's been some good things recently. There's just been a lot of bad things as well. I think the problem is the focus just keeps getting put on Salah. And obviously I'm playing up to it a little bit. Like, I've tweeted about him a lot the last 24 hours. But it's just like a never-ending... Like, the comments on the live stream, the comments on the YouTube videos, the reply... Like, I've just started muting people because I'll tweet about something nothing to do with Salah and they'll just reply something about Salah. So I just mute them. But, like, it's just never stopping with him. Even though, like, funnily, I don't even think he's necessarily my biggest issue. But he might well be soon. Martinelli played very well against City when he came on in the FA Cup. He may not have much joy against Brentford, but he'll have joy against City. I think I'd rather have him up against Brentford, to be honest with you. Thoughts on the Ireland bank holiday? I mean, good for people that get bank holidays off, I guess. Salah essential. No. I think that's actually... I know I always say I'm not going to talk about Salah. I think what's really frustrating for me right now is there's no... Apart from like that tiny percent I said about the fact that you could sell him and then he'd haul and that would be annoying. There's no fear. There's nothing to fear. He's not, unless they get a double in 25, he's not going to be my captain at any point soon. So it's not like I'm worried about selling him and then everyone else has got him and they're going to captain him. Nobody freaking owns him. So there's literally no fear. And yet I still haven't necessarily found a point where I've thought he is my best transfer out. Like, lots of good FPL managers that I follow sold him last week. But again, that was to get Bruno. And I already had him. So... Like, it's just it's not even fear. I kind of wish I could just get rid of him, which I can. Obviously, I can literally do it. Yeah, Kane's probably the one. Yeah. Spanish press claiming Haaland unhappy with the atmosphere at City and Guardiola tactics. Is that like the same Spanish press that won him at Real Madrid? Game week 25 strategy. Going with 11 men. I should be like, I've only got Trippier, Fernandes, Rashford, Shaw, and Greenwood that are blank. So I've got 5 players, and I've got 4 transfers to deal with. So I've got 2 this week, 1 in 24, 1 in 25. So I'm probably okay. My plan will probably be bench Trippier, bench Rashford, and I may well get rid of Shaw and Fernandes and Greenwood by then. I think Luke Shaw... I might actually sell Luke Shaw for someone else that blanks in 25. As weird as that sounds, like a Brighton defender. Mudrik's stats were awful and he got taken off after 45 minutes. I think Potter said they had a cold though. I think he's a wait and see. There's too much competition. I would not be buying Mudrik right now. Exactly. It was Nacional, I've probably pronounced that wrong, who wanted him at Real Madrid. Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, right? Best striker replacements for Tony. I have Haaland and Mitrovic. Heard what you said about issues with Nketiah. I think I wouldn't let Jesus coming back put me off getting Nketiah. I'm just not getting him because I don't think it's worth going from 2 Arsenal mids to get him in. I just don't think it's worth those transfers. But if you don't have triple Arsenal and you can do Tony to Nketiah for the double, I would do that. I think Jesus could come back in 3 to 5 weeks and be an issue straight away, but you could just deal with it then. I think it's worth just getting the points now. I do read super chats. Yeah, sorry, I must have missed one. I've just done Martinelli to Odegaard. What do you think? Yeah, great. I think it's fine. I think Odegaard is the better long-term move. So yeah, absolutely fine. I can see Calvert-Lewin being in a few teams over the next few weeks. I just want to. I know sometimes like I'm slow to certain changes in teams and players, but I also think sometimes that helps you not jump on bandwagons that are really bad. And don't get me wrong, I watched that Arsenal and Everton game, and Everton were really impressive, and obviously Sean Dyche got them well drilled straight away. But I don't know if we should suddenly be thinking, right, I've really got to get on Everton players. Like obviously Tarkowski's only 4.2 million and he will play in 25 and 28. So as a bench option, not bad. And Calvert-Lewin, mate, like I have looked at it. I think he's like, what, 7.7 million or something like that. But, I mean, maybe he'll be an option. I don't want to suddenly completely change my opinion on Everton after one game, no matter how impressive it was. Also, he's flagged. Didn't realise that. 7.9 million. How is he 7.9 million? I don't know why he was 8 million. But, I mean, to be fair, they have got really good fixtures. I know Chelsea away is tough in 28, but Leeds at home, Villa at home, Forest away, Brentford at home. There's worse punch you could make, for sure. Like, I wouldn't completely put someone off that. But 7.9 million, I know money's easy to come by this season, but 7.9 feels a little bit too much still. Who's the best City mid for the double? Cost not a factor. I still think it's De Bruyne, to be honest. I think it's De Bruyne, but honestly, money is always a factor, and Mahrez is perfectly fine. So I think Mahrez is probably the one to buy just because of that reason. If literally money doesn't matter because you're going to sell him to someone else anyway, probably De Bruyne. Calvert-Lewin must be flagged all season, yeah, pretty much. Tempted to bench Fernandes for Matoma, am I crazy? I don't think I would do that personally, especially when Fernandes is on penalties. But I also don't think it's crazy to be thinking about it. I just wouldn't do that. Kane in for Ivan Toney for a hit. Who have Brentford got this week? Arsenal away. Probably not. You're not going to captain Kane, are you? I don't know if I would take a hit to do that. Even if Tony's got such a hard game. I mean, if it's part of another move which helps you out, maybe. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed that, despite all the Salah talk, make sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, in tomorrow's video, Salah is not one of the players I've talked about. I can't remember if I mention him. I think I do mention him, but then I try and switch it to Liverpool players instead. But otherwise, there's 3 players discussed plus a bunch more, and none of them are Salah. So look forward to that. All the other normal content to come this week. Deadline stream on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to go and watch the Jurassic World or whatever it's called, the final movie, which everyone's telling me is great. So I'll catch you soon. Give it a like, hit subscribe. Hopefully that little clap there didn't hurt the headphone users, and I'll see you later on.